We are so glad to have you guys with us today. Some of you have been former volunteers and have spent time here with us. Many of you are financial supporters, and we really hope we've been able to gather some of you who have very little knowledge of what we do, but we're excited that you would spend this time with us. And this past weekend, we were supposed to have events in Minneapolis, in New York City, and preparing for one up ahead in Philly. But obviously with the effects of the coronavirus, we were not able to come and not able to have those events. So we got thinking, why not try to gather people anyway and share our story and share what's happening, introduce you to more of the boys, and really just to spend this time together so you know how you can be involved in what we're doing. Over the course of this time, you're gonna learn a lot about all the different things that we do. But some of you might be brand new, and so I just wanted to remind you from the beginning that really Ubuntu Football is all about mentoring and developing the next generation of great African leaders, men, and footballers. And we do this in an elite football context by running our own school, by providing a residence for more than a third of the boys, and by then really helping them pursue their dreams in whatever field that is and in whatever way that is. We want to help them find a way to pursue the next parts of their lives. At this point, the effects of the virus on us and at Ubuntu have been quite minimal, but we know that those are growing day by day, especially in our country at large. We were already scheduled to have a 3-week school holiday, which sounds like a long school holiday this time of year, and it was going to be. Our schools throughout the country closed about 3 days earlier than that, so we've had a long break that's still ongoing for a while. However, there have been some big disappointments because of the virus that we've experienced that we weren't expecting. All tournaments, really all football, has been put off till beyond Easter. So that means some big tournaments were missed, including the Under-19 Bay Hill Premier Cup, which is this massive tournament for our boys here that you have to qualify for. And so for those boys who will age out, it will be their last opportunity to be a part of that. It gathers the best clubs and the best even professional academies from around the country. So we were really excited and looking forward to that, so we're disappointed that won't happen. We had 6 boys, 15 and 14-year-olds that were chosen for the Under-16 national team camp that was during this holiday. That's been postponed and canceled for a while. And then we had 4 of our boys that were headed to Europe on trials later in April, and that's obviously been delayed until those countries reopen. But the biggest worry we have is for the health of our boys, because the majority of them come from communities that are densely populated and don't always have access to proper sanitation and even just running water. It means that they're very vulnerable. Did you know that most of the communities that our boys are from actually have a higher population density than New York City? Can you believe that? It's not because they're all living in big sky rises, it's because communities are all just packed on top of each other. So you can imagine what that means. But so far, we think that they are all still healthy, and we've challenged them to really lead in their communities, to follow all the mandates given by government, and to really be the people that are leading the way and helping change mindsets and really give direction to what's ahead. So 2020 has really been about a year of maturity for us. We're no longer an entrepreneurial startup. We really are becoming a sustainable corporate structure. And so we've reorganized our organizational flow, we've expanded our leadership team, we're growing and strengthening our board of trustees. We want to get on more solid financial footing, so we're able to give coaches and teachers the resources they really need to be successful. And the final evolution is really, in this new season, is really about how we better prepare boys for leadership and community engagement, because that's ultimately what we want them to really do as they finish and as they leave us. Though we'll always be improving the way we do education and the way we do football, those things are quite settled, but we really think we can make massive improvements in the area of formation, both in their character and spiritual lives and in their desire to serve. So that's kind of the next season for us. And this is where we start to develop some iconic community leaders, the ones that really lead this nation into the next season. The start of 2020 has been so positive for us. We've seen some significant growth in many of our boys, and some of them we're going to tell you about and you're going to even hear from. The school is pumping, football is flourishing, and the house is a family of love. And so there's so much to be excited about even after the first 3 months of 2020. And that's coming off a really challenging year of 2019 that saw Ubuntu endure like some real extreme financial challenges, but where we endured them with great belief and with great success and great fruit. We had unbelievable success on the field. I want to just really quickly tell you, some of you followed along and you've heard all this, but just so you know, we won all 4 league titles in our new high performance league last year while playing the most attractive style around. We won 8 or 9 tournaments, including the under 18 Engine Knockout Challenge and the Engine Championships, which is essentially the under 18 national championships. We had 3 more boys selected for the under 20 national team. We sent 2 more boys to the US, bringing our total of up to 10 boys studying there. We expanded the school to include grade 10s through 12s, now making our school from grade 6 to 12. We had our first matriculants of the Ubuntu Football Academy school, and we also had graduates start in universities locally. 2 started a student teaching program at Sun Valley Primary School, and we even had 1 of our graduates become a police officer. So 2019 was an amazing year, and though we endured those challenges, our teachers and our coaches and our staff did amazing work to make sure that these boys continued to flourish and to have great success. So today we're going to do several things. We're going to have a panel with some of our players so you can get to know them and their stories and their hearts. We're going to show you a video from some of our graduates just talking about their experience. I'll come back to share with you more at the end. But from here, we want you to enjoy this amazing video that Future Media Group helped us create that really gives you a great overview of who we are, what we're doing, and all that's ahead.
The reason I went to Ubuntu because I want to become a football player and I want to be the next leader.
Ubuntu started really out of our desire to raise up significant leaders in these communities where leadership seems to be a real issue, and we wanted to use football as a context to raise up some significant men that would transform these communities.
So special about Ubuntu, like they don't just focus on football, even though as young boys we just want to play football and have fun. Like there's something different about them, giving you schooling, helping you over the field. Whenever you want to do extra, they will be there. They believed in me and they kept me, and I really appreciate that for them.
Our heart really is to see men become the people that will lead their families well, who will serve their communities, and then ultimately start to see transformation happen throughout South Africa. And so that process is long and it's hard, and it means we have to invest deeply in them over a long period of time to really see their hearts be transformed, their mindsets changed, to give them skills to lead and to grow, and then to help create pathways out of their situations into new and better futures.
The thing that I enjoy the most about attending Ubuntu is definitely football. But yeah, we get to do other stuff here, like being a leader to the younger ones. So yeah, through Ubuntu I've been able to outgrow my football talents and become a better person and a better leader for myself and the man that I want to be one day.
Ubuntu develop kids holistically. They develop kids mentally, they develop the character, and they develop them in football. And that's what attracted me to Ubuntu. They guide kids and they guide youth in the right direction.
Being here really changed my life, I learned how to be responsible also as a young man, Like I'm free when I come here. I can't explain that feeling. It's an exciting feeling.
We've evolved so much in 9 years from being just a little football program and then a football program that was sending kids to a school to eventually having our own residence and then eventually having our own school. It's kind of been this constant evolution, and it really means we have taken the responsibility of really raising the Ubuntu man that we dream of them being.
Ubuntu is kind of like a family because they create a culture where everybody is welcomed and they feel warm and they feel the love. Before I was kind of like a person that would just sit down and just let things be, even though I saw they were wrong. But now I'm more confident in stepping up and leading and telling them what to do and showing them the way.
Yeah, we would love for people to just get to know us, to follow our story, to get involved. Everyone has a different part they can play. I mean, that's the essence of Ubuntu, is that we all have a part we can play in building a better future. And so we just pray that you would get involved, that you would get excited, you would share our story, and that you would find the place that you can specifically help, because I know that there's a place for each of you. Man, isn't that video amazing? Every time I see it, which has probably been 142 times, I love it as much every time. Almost makes me emotional, but I love it so much. So thank you to Future Media Group. And just as we go along through this day and sharing with you, at any point that you feel inspired to join us and to find your place to get involved, just the links are at the bottom of ways for you to give, for you to get connected. And so at any point, click there as you follow along with the rest of the video. So I'm so excited to have three of our gentlemen with you today, just for them to share their stories, their hearts, their situations, their dreams with you. And so I'm gonna let them introduce you, because if they introduce themselves properly with their good accents and the way that their names are said, it'll be even better. And so they're gonna tell you their name, how old they are, what community they're from, maybe the grade you are in school, and what position you play. So we'll start with the youngest of them. I think you're the youngest of them. You guys are close, but yeah. Okay, tell us.
My name is Elisha Ngoko, and I'm 14 years old, turning 15 on the 6th of April. I'm in grade 9, and...
What position do you play?
Oh, my position. I play as a centre back, and a right centre back.
Okay, where do you stay?
I stay in a small community called Masipumalele.
Masipumalele, okay.
Yeah.
So we often refer to that as Masi, so you might hear, if we change the name to eliminate 4 syllables, then you'll know why. So Masi, okay, great. And next?
My name is Jody Osin. I'm 15 years old. I'm grade 10. I live in a town named Ocean View, and I'm a striker.
My name is Uzair Lee. I come from the community of Ocean View, same as Jody. I am a centre back, and I've been part of Ubuntu for about 7 years, and this is my final year. Hopefully not final year at Ubuntu, and I'm in grade 12.
That's right. So because we are social distancing as well, we have only gathered kids from the local areas. So we have kids from all over the city that are part of Ubuntu, but we've only picked kids from Masi and Ocean View, which are really sort of our spiritual homes. This is where we really started. It's where we operate and exist. And so these are a great representation of who we are. So I want each of you guys to just share with our friends today just a top memory you've had as part of Ubuntu, a specific game, a time at the house, a great test you had. Does that happen? I don't think so. But what are a top memory that you've had?
I think we were 12 years old, so we were playing against Hellenic, and so we went there and the match started, and the first half we didn't play good and they dominated the game and it was 2-0. And second half the coach told us we have to win this game and you have to show leadership and you have to show them who's better. So we turned the game and the score at the end was 5-2, and everyone was pushing, and we kept those words of Coach Johnny, and that he told us that we must push till the end, till the final whistle. So yeah.
Nice. Did you have any of those 5? Did Jody have any of those 5?
Yeah.
Probably a bunch of them. Good job. That's an amazing story. And it's always nice beating Hellenic. Let's be honest. Hopefully they're not watching. Okay, Jody, maybe a top memory for you.
My best memory at Ubuntu was when we played Ajax at Vishoek. Ajax won us whole year, the last season, and we were very sad and emotional because we lost the league to them by a point. And this season we were first on the log and they were behind us by 3 points. So this was a game that we had to win. We started off bad. They were dominating the game, and it was someone got hurt, and Coach Yuri called us in. He told us that this is the game we needed to win, and this is the game that will show who's better. So 5 minutes after the team talk, we came in with a bang, and we scored 2 goals in 2 minutes, and the score was 2-1. And last 10 minutes we were all over them, and we won the game 3-1. And that season we still lost the league to Ajax because they beat us at their home 3-0. So that was my best moment when winning Ajax.
All right. We also enjoyed beating them. Let's be honest. All right, Uzair, what's a top memory for you?
I think for me, I have plenty of memories, but one that stood out for me is winning the Engine Knockout Challenge and also the national champions. I think doing it with Coach Casey was one of my proudest moments as well. Also winning the Durban Cup with Coach Casey was also one of my biggest moments. But for me, winning the Engine Knockout Challenge with him was a big moment for us, because we went in this tournament knowing that it wasn't going to be easy. So we had a bad start to the tournament, but after that we picked up wins straight on after that. And then I think the thing that stood out for me was the words of him, and he just wanted us to serve each other, and that, I think for me, that's what we did. And we took that into the national championships, and we went there and showed the professional clubs what we could do, and I think we went out there and made a name for ourselves. So that was one of my biggest moments at Ubuntu.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was such a fun run. I would like to do that again several times.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah. So at Ubuntu we have 5 key values. Everything we talk about, all of our discipline, all of our encouragement really should be focused on these 5 values. So I want to ask you guys, what's kind of your favorite value? Like, what's the one that you get most excited about? Maybe the one you've grown in the most. Just maybe hone in on one of the values, and then if we don't, the few we don't hit, we'll make sure we quiz you and make sure you know them. So, Alika, why don't you start us off? What's kind of your favorite value?
Yeah, I'm still thinking. I think Jody can take.
My favorite value at Ubuntu is positivity, because where I come from, there's a lot of negativity in the community, and everything is so negative, and there's not a lot of positive outcomes, and that's the most value I take from.
That's a good one. Yeah. Wow.
I think for me, all of them is like, how can I say, everything stands out for me, but I think the one that like everyone knows like they need to do is family. And for me, family at Ubuntu is a big thing, because everyone comes from different communities, different backgrounds and different faiths. So here at Ubuntu they try and make sure that everyone feels comfortable, and not only the players but also the parents and the people who come in and who we tell about Ubuntu. So the missionaries, the college students, whoever just comes to Ubuntu, they get to feel like they're part of our family, and we just show that to them. And I think it also stands out for me because the younger boys that come in, I think they don't feel as they're part of the family yet, because it's their first year. So I feel like as an elder, I need to take leadership and do my job and make sure they feel welcome into the Ubuntu family.
Yeah, well, you do a great job of that. The Uzi Guns, that was the name of his little group last year. Uzi Guns.
I think he was part of it.
Were you part of the Uzi Guns?
Yeah.
Okay. Which is your favorite value, Likle?
Mine is also family.
Okay.
Like, because there's younger like brothers of us here at Ubuntu, like, and I've been through like 3 years at Ubuntu now, so I have that thing that like I know Ubuntu, so I have to like teach the younger brothers, so like to teach them how to go through Ubuntu and how things are gonna happen, and we're gonna face like cool stuff and like bad stuff. So like I have to tell them like you have to be strong and you have to have faith, and yeah, that's all.
Okay. So we've hit positivity and family. Tell us one more. Just tell us what it is. You don't have to tell us.
Oh, honor.
Honor.
Yeah.
Jody.
Excellence.
Excellence.
And growth.
And growth. Okay, so those are our 5 core values. I'm glad you guys hit that. Well done. So yeah, everything revolves around those values. You guys have done a great job explaining why they're important. And I think excellence and growth and honor, you can probably extrapolate why those are so important to us. Okay, so Elite, we want to really tell your story and kind of explain what you've endured and what your life has been like. So maybe kind of start us from the beginning. You mentioned being from Masipumalele. What was kind of, before you got into Ubuntu, what was your sort of life situation like? Like, who were you staying with? What was it like at home? Just kind of tell us about that.
Oh, like, I was staying with my auntie. Like, my mom was around, like, some of the times because she was working away from, like, Masi. So I had to stay with my auntie, and I had, like, my cousin staying with us also. So my cousin was playing for Fishhook. So, like, I asked him one day, like, where are you going? Then he told me that he's going to, like, Fishhook. Then I asked, what are you going to do there? So he said he's going to play, like, soccer. And I didn't have boots, so I had to wear my tekkies. So I went with him. And when we got there, like, there was a lot of boys that I knew. And, like, but they didn't tell me that, like, there's a team called Fishhook. So, like, and I met, like, different people. And, like, even him, he was there. So I met Jody, and, like, we started, like, chatting. And so, yeah. And
okay, so that was kind of the start of your playing, and then you kind of get involved with Ubuntu. You're invited into the academy, and then eventually invited to live in the residency.
Yeah.
In residency, what has that been like living there? And maybe just describe what it's like to be in the house at all. But what particularly has it been like for you?
for me, like, I get, like, enough food and, like, enough care, and, like, I don't get hungry, you see. And I know there's food, so when I want to eat, I can eat. And, like, I get, like, nice people who take care of me, and the shower, so, like, I can be clean, and there's everything. And, like, I have my own room, and, like, with 6 people, and now I'm the group leader of that room.
Okay, that's awesome. So your basic needs are met, but then you're also getting to learn something about leadership while being in there, that you have some responsibility, and there's chore groups, and you have to clean, and you have to do things there. So there's also some responsibility and some honor that you're even learning there. So that's great. So a few years ago, you had a bit of a little accident, right as the school holiday was starting, right? Can you maybe tell us about that accident, but particularly then, how did Ubuntu sort of walk through that with you?
Like, it was the other day, it was at night, so I went outside and I saw my friends, and, like, we were sitting, like, and we were, like, far away from my house. So, like, my friend said, like, there's a car, so you have to go behind the car without the driver knowing. So we went, so we agreed that we're gonna do it. So there was a car that was a buggy that was going through. So we ran and we caught the buggy, and we went, like, on the back of it. So the car was driving slow, like, it didn't see that we were at the back of the car, and we were driving slow. When it turned, so he looked at the mirror, so he saw, there's boys at the back of the car. So, and he turned again, he drove fast, cause so I didn't, like, get the chance to get off, because he drove fast, and there was a speed bump, so he didn't even stop there, he went through. And, like, after that, like, they said I flew, like, up, then I went, and I fainted. And so after that, like, there was a lot of boys, like, that crowded me, and Indumiso and his brother came, and they asked who was that. Then they told it's Elisa, the boy who played for Ubuntu. Then they took me to the hospital, and so after that in the morning, I went to my house. So I wasn't feeling right, I was a little bit dizzy, and I knew Shawn was around. So I went to Shawn, I told him, like, I'm feeling dizzy, and he first sent me to it's Desmond Tutu, I remember. Okay. So they told us you have to go to Fishhook Hospital. Then we went there to Fishhook Hospital. Then at Fishhook Hospital, like, they were sending us all around, and I can't remember the names of the hospitals, and you had to go to Victoria, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have to go to, I don't remember, but like we went through a lot, me and Coach Shawn was there for me, and it's like, and I'm thinking of that, like my dream is to make Coach Shawn proud of like buying a car or something like that. Because like it helped me a lot.
You did. So I mean, eventually you had like swelling on your brain, right?
Yeah.
And you eventually had a bit of an operation to reduce the swelling, and you even have some memories of it here to show. Remind yourself all the time not to jump on the back of trucks that are moving. Good. Well, I think it is significant that someone in our staff was willing to walk that journey, because it wasn't like it happened while you were with us. It happened while you were home. But obviously our staff was deeply concerned and really cared, so that's great. Okay, so if you were to kind of describe, how would you describe 2 or 3 years ago, what do you think our kind of teachers or coaches, how would they, if I said Elikle, what would immediately come to their minds 2 or 3 years ago? How would they have described you?
Yeah, let's say I was a naughty boy, like I did not listen, I was not following the Ubuntu values, and like I was struggling to be engaged with Ubuntu, and every time I was in trouble in school and with coaches at training, I would back chat while they're telling me the right thing and think like they're against me, and like, but now, yeah.
Okay, so now you're an under 15 player, so you're in your 4th year of Ubuntu. How do you think teachers and coaches would describe you now?
They describe me as a leader, and like he has changed a lot, and he's been through a lot at Ubuntu, and like he knows what Ubuntu means now, and he's
Yeah. How does that make you feel that they would say that after 3 years that people can really see your growth?
Like, it makes me feel happy, coach, and like go again, coach, and like fight through, like to not go back as that Elisa that like did not listen, and so like I wanna be like a man of honor, coach, and a guy that like if I'm out of Ubuntu, like they always remember that Elisa was there, and they will tell my story to like the younger boys that will be there at Ubuntu. Yes.
That's amazing. Which story? The story of the growth, or the story of not jumping on trucks?
Both of them.
Both are stories. They're both important lessons. Okay. What are your goals and dreams for the future? You're an under 15 player in grade 9, so you still have lots of time left with us, but if you kind of look out in the future, what are your goals and dreams?
Like my dream is to become a soccer player. I'm a professional soccer player at 19 years old. Like playing a like higher league coach, like PSL coach, or like overseas coach at 19 years old.
Okay. Big goals and dreams. That's good. I love it. Okay, Jody, let's get to know you. Can you tell us more about your upbringing? You know, you were raised in Ocean View, but just tell us more about your life and some of the things that have happened to you as kind of a youngster.
So I grew up in Ocean View, a very small town. I lived with my grandparents, my grandpa and my grandma, my two cousins. My mom and her husband lived together. My dad was on his own. When I was 9, I got sad news that my father passed away due to gangsterism. It was very tough for me because I had to grow up very fast. I had to look after my little siblings because they were very young, and the day we got onto the scene, my brother was yelling, I want my daddy back, and I was very emotional because I always wanted to keep them smiling, and that day he was broken, and my sisters were all crying. I spoke to them and told them that they must look after themselves, get a better life, and not go into his footsteps, like to be a gangster. And so I've learned that to be a better role model to my siblings, especially because they were very young. My little one was 6 years old. My second one was 7, and my sister was 8. They were all broken. I tried talking to them, and it was very sad because I was the oldest and I had to grow up very fast to be there by them and guide them into the right footsteps. They currently all going to good schools. One is at Sun Valley, grade 6. The other one is in grade 8 at Fisher High, and other one is in grade 9 at Fisher High.
Wow. That sounds like they're doing well. Do you think that story of kids growing up without their dads is something that a lot of kids in Ocean View share? Are you the only one that's experienced that, or do you think there's a lot more?
There's a lot more because one of my friends, his dad died recently due to gangsterism. He's also a bit sad and he wanted to become also one of the gangsters and try to get revenge. But I spoke to him that this is not the life to go into because they also shot my dad's dad and you went to do that. And I told him this is not a good life for you. You're very clever at school, you're getting good marks and you're on bursaries and they're rooting for you. And so now he's flying high, he's getting good school marks and yeah.
That's great. Maybe you can kind of just explain to our friends today what it's been like in Ocean View over the last couple of months or even really years. It's not been a time of great peace. Can maybe just describe what's been happening and then how that affects a teenager in a community like ours?
It's very tough in Ocean View because when you're going out, you don't know if you're coming back inside because it's very dangerous out there. You always got to be alert because there could be someone trying to rob you, someone trying to hurt you because they're trying to put food on their table but in a bad way. They shot a 6-month-old kid last year and a 9-year-old kid in his house. So it's actually not safe anyway because they shot him through his window while he was playing with his toys. And recently they killed a 7-year-old child playing with her friends in the yard. It was a very bad time because everybody was tired of this gangsterism and killing innocent kids and people. The same night they killed an innocent man and they threw his body laying there.
Yeah, so it's been a bit more peaceful lately, but it's definitely been a long season of violence and it all centers around drugs and gangs and that sort of war. But then, as you said, there's these people that are caught up in it who are just innocently doing their own thing, and that's where it's been sad. And it affects you guys. It's where we train. It's an environment that many of you come from, so it's definitely something that affects all of us as part of Ubuntu. Can you maybe talk about how it makes you feel and what you really feel like is your response in it as a 15-year-old living in that environment, but as someone who looks towards the future? What is it you're hoping to do? I mean, you talked to Coach Dave recently about some of your goals and dreams around this. What do you really want to see happen through your own life?
I want to see not a negative change, but a positive change because there's lots of negative role models. Like if you selling drugs on the street, that's good for a kid at 8 years old because he's saying, "Oh, that guy has a gun. That guy selling drugs." But meanwhile, that is not good because it's killing someone else's parents because he's maybe on drugs. How's his household? And there's not a lot of positive role models, mostly negative. And I just want to be a positive role model in my community, trying to bring change. And in our communities, they look up to the Ubuntu boys because we're different from other kids in the we always trying to help it's the small kids and trying to be a positive change in the community.
That's amazing. So I mean, Jody, you've always been known as this really talented footballer. It's always been very clear and very evident, but over the last little bit, you've really developed this greater sense of excellence in your schoolwork and in your character. What do you feel like is changing in you or happening in you that's leading to this growth?
Every day, if I'm walking home, I'm seeing drugs, I'm seeing gangsters, guns everywhere, and I just want to be a positive leader in my community, trying to be different, trying to impact my community in a better way, and not just the community but other communities. And it's very tough because if you're doing the right thing, you being talked of as being different, being stupid, because if you're leading in the right way, they always gonna hate you because doing drugs and being a gangster is good in their eyes. And I just wanna try and get that out of their heads that doing the right thing is actually good and doing the wrong thing is actually wrong.
Even if doing the right thing is doing good on a physics test, still is good.
That's good.
That's awesome. So, what are your goals and dreams for the future as you think through, 3 years left of high school? What do you hope to accomplish?
I would like to be the first Ubuntu player to play in Europe, and I also want to start my own thing in Oceanville, a soccer clinic thing, and help the homeless, people that are going through hard times. And I want to build my own building in Oceanville for kids that need help and stuff. But I first need the resources to do that, and I hope that I can do that soon.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm so proud and excited that your goals aren't just for yourself, but that you really thought through how you can impact others. That's amazing. Okay, who's there? Let's tell your story. You've the elder statesman in the group. Why don't you kind of describe for us your family and just the impact they've had on your life and stuff.
I think my family is different to all families. Well, everyone's family is different, but what stands out for my family is that we mainly focus on character and leadership. So the main thing for me is, for my parents, were that they implemented me how to be responsible, how to treat people, and what I can do for the next person. Not so that I can get the credit for helping them, but just for showing them that helping one another it's gonna benefit the both of you, because that person can go on to doing something else for another person. So in my home, responsibility and character is a very big thing, and they mainly try and focus on that, because that is what's gonna take you to the next step of your life, and without that you won't succeed.
It's amazing. So when Walid, your dad, and your mom Nadia were growing up in Ocean View, what sort of opportunities do you think they had?
I think from my perspective, opportunities were very rare. And for me, getting the opportunities now, it wasn't the same as what they had back then, because my mother and my father were struggling to give me a better life and my brother a better life, not the life that they had when they were younger. So I think the opportunities and the things that they had back then were very different to what we have now. So that's why they're trying to let me take note of it and show me that opportunities that come your way, it won't always be there. So that's why you have to take it and use it to the best of your ability.
So you are starting to really get to the end of this sort of primary part of your Ubuntu journey. You never really finish with Ubuntu, but you're finishing the school part. What are kind of some of your goals as you start to finish this matric year? What are your goals for kind of next year, 2021 and beyond?
I think firstly, I want to get my matric certificate. Not only just pass, but also pass it with a bachelor's. And then after that, I want to study in the States. I think that is a main priority for me, is to get my studies finished, and then thereon try and go into professional football. Because for me, I think having something that I've studied, I know I can still do many things, and then if football doesn't work out for me, I can have something to fall back on. And I know for many of us, schoolwork isn't always the best option, but for me, I also hate schoolwork. So but I think working towards finishing this matric year and finishing my studies will have like a big impact on my life, but not only on my life and on my parents' lives as well.
Yeah. No, I think you're on your way. 3 more terms, you're getting close.
Very close.
I mean, I think, Uzair, you shared a little bit already about your family's emphasis on your character. So, you know, we can't take a lot of credit for the character you are. You've always had amazing character, but hopefully we've then continued to partner with your parents in that way and foster that. But what do you feel like has been the impact in the community? Like, have you been able to already see, even as a 17-year-old, the impact you're able to have on people in the community, or do you feel like that's something that's still, you know, to be seen?
I think for me, I've seen it in friends and family, because I've got family members that's my age who are going way off path, and I think me helping them was like something big, because some of them were going very astray of what they needed to do, like dropping out of school and things like that. But then, like, not by speaking to them, but just like showing them what they need to do, and by my actions change their mindset. And also my friends, like going to parties and things like that, I think they find me as the most boring person on earth because they usually party and things like that. But for me, it's not about the partying and things like that. I mean, I don't mind the party, but what are they gonna do at the party?
Right.
What's gonna happen at the party? So I tend to rather think ahead and decide, okay, how are you going? How are you gonna get back? What if this happens? What if that happens? Not to be negative, but just to be realistic, because Ocean View isn't really a safe place, and that's why I just think about myself, but also I try and let my friends know that it's not gonna benefit, that part is not gonna benefit them, or whatever they're gonna do is not gonna benefit them. So I just try and like show them by actions, and showing them like what I do and what they do differently is two different things, and they can also change when doing it.
Yeah. That's amazing. Well, guys, I'm so thankful that you would share your stories. I'm sure at home you are ready to give them a nice clap and to celebrate them, even in your own home right now. I would encourage you to do that, because they can hear it all the way wherever you are. But yeah, thanks so much for sharing your story so openly and so honestly. And yeah, I know that everyone was inspired by that. So we want to now help you get to know some of our graduates, where they've gone off to, what they're doing, and really how the impact Ubuntu has had on them. So enjoy this.
Hi guys, my name is Munashe Karanganga. I'm currently 19 years of age and I'm from Zimbabwe. At the moment I'm staying at the Ubuntu residence, and I'm working towards finishing one of my GED exams, which is social studies, and I'm also playing with the Vodacom team. For me, Ubuntu means a lot to me, because the coaches, the house parents, and my teammates have become family away from family since I'm away from home. And I've also gotten a lot of football opportunities that I wouldn't have gotten if I was still in Zimbabwe. So I really appreciate the love and support that I get here, because it's something that I'll always cherish for the rest of my life. Thank you.
Hey, my name is Robin Terry. I'm a graduate from Ubuntu Football Academy. I'm currently studying at Corbin University in Oregon, Salem. What Ubuntu has meant for me is they installed a lot of character. They helped me be the man I am today. And it's just much more a family. You feel a sense of belonging within the academy. I just feel like they've installed a lot of good into the footballers. So yeah.
Good afternoon, all Ubuntu followers. I'm Shadley Philander. I'm 21 years old and I'm an Ubuntu graduate. I've been with Ubuntu for the past 7-8 years since it was established. I'm currently pursuing my teaching degree at UNISA, and I give all thanks to the Ubuntu Football organization that have groomed me into the person that I am today. They have built my character and my intellect in pursuing this career that I currently am doing, and I really give great thanks to them. They are not just an organization that focuses on the footballing part of a young teenager's life, but also focus on the background and where that person comes from. They are really an amazing organization that I believe that will grow into great heights. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Wandile Sikolo, and I'm an Ubuntu graduate. I started playing for Ubuntu when I was 12 years old, and I left when I was 18. And it was a wonderful time while I was there because they had put me in schools, and then I had learned to become a better human being, a better person, a better brother, a better son, a better friend to my friends, and it taught me a lot. What I'm doing now is I play for Chomo Cosmos in the National First Division, which is now known as the Cleared Africa Championship in South Africa, which is the second tier of football, like professional football in South Africa. And yeah, it's going well so far. And the reason why I'm there is because of Ubuntu. And I would like to say thank you very much. And please keep supporting Ubuntu. Thank you.
I'm Chaido Anza, Ubuntu alumni. I'm currently in my second year of law, commercial law at UWC. Ubuntu has meant a lot to me. The friends, still have them. Some irritating. Yeah, joking. It meant a lot. It taught me a lot also as a person, as a man. Lots of leadership and how to give back to the community and be a family man. Especially also with my education, gave me a good education to allow me to be where I am now, to be able to be studying. It's a good thing, and I really appreciate everything they've done. It was really a family academy, schooling, everything. Yeah, thanks.
It's always so great to hear their voices and to see their much more hairy faces than they used to be, and just to see the ways that they're having an impact in all the places that God has spread these graduates. We're so proud of them and so excited about what's to come for them. You know, it's such an honor that you would spend this time with us today, and yeah, we're just so thankful that you would do that. South Africa entered a 21-day lockdown, and we're about 7-8 days into that now, and we're feeling hopeful. You know, our rate of infection continues to rise, but at quite a slow rate. So we're hopeful that we can get back to things soon. But we're also experiencing those same frustrations and boredom that you are experiencing as we all want to get back to our regular lives. You know, this idea of Ubuntu is really about interconnectedness, that my humanity is bound up in your humanity and vice versa. So when you suffer, I experience that alongside of you. And when I celebrate, you have that same joy alongside of me. And so in this time, we really are experiencing that together. I mean, can you remember a time where globally we were all experiencing the same sort of illness and frustrations and struggles? It's such a momentous thing that we would be experiencing true Ubuntu. But I also want to help clarify what this experience means like for our boys in comparison to what maybe you're facing. Many of our players live in what are called township communities, and to experience this in that kind of place is a really rough experience. You know, do you know that the population density of New York City, the hardest hit part of the United States with coronavirus, is about 66,000 people per square mile? Well, in Masiphumelele, the local township, that population density is matched and possibly even higher. But those people aren't spread out across high-rise buildings. They're all living on top of each other. And so that means some real struggles for them. It means some real problems as they face things that are happening there. You know, our school and our residents are right next door to that community, and many of our boys live in that community. And boys across South Africa are living in similar communities that we experience. And so they don't always have proper sanitation, they don't always have proper running water, and they don't have medical facilities to really take care of people that get sick. So this really scares us for them. How can we possibly keep them healthy and safe when they're living in environments like this? Their homes are overcrowded. There's big struggles for them. There's very little for them to do. So how do they possibly stay indoors and stay away from other people in a time like this? Well, these are focused young men, so they're up for the challenge. And we set them a goal for the entire academy, for all 80 boys, to do everything in their power to stay free from the virus, as they stay indoors, as they wash their hands the best they can, as they do everything that they can control. And then we up the ante for them. And we challenge them to say, how can you make a difference to make sure that everyone in your family and everyone in your neighborhood or your community on your street is also able to stay virus-free as they set an example in the way they live and the way they inspire others around them. Because already at their young age, they have influence, they have sway in their communities, and they can use that to make sure everyone else stays virus-free. And so far it seems to be working. And you've seen this week on our social media videos of them training in their driveways or inside their houses. Maybe they've gotten their dads involved or their little siblings. You've seen them learning new skills of baking and working on cars and putting doors together. You've seen them even doing some schoolwork, which I'm shocked by, but they're even doing schoolwork during a time they don't have to. And so they've gotten the message, they've taken the challenge, and they are making a difference. But we're left with this uncertainty that what happens if this lockdown continues beyond 21 days? We were supposed to have a school break already, so we actually haven't missed a ton of school yet. But this thing might go on beyond the prescribed 21 days. And so what if it doesn't end? Where you definitely have the stress of the market crashing, and some of our families will be left with the real questions of where does today's food come from? And where you are comfortably watching this in your home, some of our families are worried about continuing to pay rent, and our boys are at home now sharing rooms and sharing beds with their siblings. And where your children are able to learn through digital platforms, most of our kids don't have access to the internet in their homes, and they can't continue with their education if this continues. So in anticipation for continuing this, we started really brainstorming and trying to be proactive with what we can do to help if this continues. And so because our high school is an online platform already, it means they will continue. And so we've figured out that we need to get our students computers back in their hands. We need to get them the ability to access the internet through a data plan, and then really making sure they're able to continue. For those boys that normally live at the house, so they normally get 3 meals or even 4 meals a day, how do we make sure that they have the food they need? The most vulnerable of our kids, how do we make sure that they have the proper food? So we're really doing our best to make plans to keep going as best we can if the lockdown continues. And long term, we're going to continue to fight to make sure that we continue offering that loving home to Elikle so he can be the fullest version of himself, to ensure that Jody has coaches that will challenge him and help him reach his dreams so that he can really make that difference he dreams of making in Ocean View. And to provide Uzair with a top education that he can take advantages of opportunities that don't come to people in his community often, so that he can get that university education in the USA, and so that he has a world of possibilities open to himself. We're so thankful that you would go on this journey with us. It's been almost 10 years that we've been doing this, and many of you have been along the whole time, and we're so thankful for that you're willing to both experience our struggles and our joy. That is the essence of Ubuntu. And we understand that you're also experiencing your own level of uncertainty right now, and we're so respectful and sensitive of that. But if you'd be able to join us in any way, we'd be so thankful. For as little as $25, you can make sure a kid has a data plan for a month so that he can continue his studies. For probably like $50, you can make sure a boy has food to eat in a vulnerable period, to make sure that he has enough so that he's physically growing, so he's not hungry, and so that he's able to do the things he needs to do to be safe and healthy in this time. Why not become a teammate to give a manageable amount every month to make sure that we can continue in this fight. If there's another way that you feel like you can help, please reach out to Shawn Buck, our development director, and talk about how you can get more involved in our story. You know, as you've seen from today, the future of South Africa is bright with these young men. But we really need your partnership in all the big and small ways that you can give it. Everything you need to know about giving is on our website, ubuntufootball.com. The link is obviously going to be provided below. Please do continue to follow along. We're going to keep letting you know what the boys are up to and how things are progressing here in our beautiful country. And please let us know how you are doing and how we can be praying for you as you go through this period, your joys and frustrations. We want to share in all of that. And thanks again for your time. It's such an honor that you would give it to us. We are with you. We're praying for you in this time. And we're excited to see the ways God moves. Cheers.